As you saw when we visited the external data ribbon, importing and linking to an Access database, so importing the data or linking to another Access database's tables, is not the only option we have when dealing with external data. One of the other big buttons here is Excel. Quite commonly, you will have or potentially have data in Excel, maybe before you created your Access database system, or maybe someone has emailed you a set of contacts or a set of data. Now, if we have the data in Excel, we can import this into our Access database. So I choose Excel as my import option. I then need to browse to find the Excel file. Now, in your working folder, you'll find there is an Excel file called sales data, and open. And then I have a number of options. I can either import this data into a new table in the current database, or I can append a copy of the records to an existing table. Now, that existing table would be the sales table. If the table exists, Access will add the records to the table. If the table does not exist, Access will create it. Changes made to the source data will not be reflected in the database because we're physically importing the data. If that Excel file then subsequently gets changed, I don't see those changes in my Access data. If, however, I choose the third option, which is to link to the Excel file, any changes in the Excel file are then reflected in my database. Well, let's attempt an append first. So the sales data I have in Excel to be added to my current TBL sales. Okay, and then given the security warning because it's going to run a wizard, and it says, I found this lot. Microsoft Access can use your column headings as field names for your table. Does the first row specify contain column headings? Well, actually, it's spotted that it has. And then it says ID, value, date, CID. Next. That's all the information that Wizard needs to import your data. Import to table TBL sales. So I click Finish. It tells me the field ID doesn't exist in the destination table sales, and then I cannot import them. The file was not imported. Now we will see when we get onto action queries how you can append data from an existing table. When importing from Excel, because everything has got to be so spot on, the data types have to be right, the field names have to be right, I would tend to suggest that you import Excel into a new table and then use an append query to append the data. What we can do now, however, is say, OK, cancel, open up the Excel file and make sure that the column headings match exactly the field names in Access. So let's have a look. Sales ID must be that first column. Second column must be sales value. Sales date. And sales client. Sales client, sales date, sales value, and sales ID. So I then save and go back to Access to see if I can import my Excel file. Browse, sales data, append to TBL sales. OK. See, the column headings are the same. Next, import to TBL sales and finish. And this time, because we got the column headings exactly right, it's managing to import the data. It's finished importing. Not all of your data was successfully imported. Some of it will go into the table sales import errors. So I have to see what's happened there. Do I want to save these steps in case I want to do it again? Potentially I might want to import from the same Excel file. For the moment though, we'll just close and have a look firstly at TBL sales. We can see that suddenly this quantity of records in here has shot right up. However, there has been an error. Import errors. Null value in an auto number field. So that's the first column was empty and it can't import that anyway because it can't put anything into a primary key auto number field. So it's just telling me it couldn't put the null value in. That's fine. I'm happy with that. We can delete that sales import error table. So you can see we can import from Excel, but the column headings must match exactly, not case sensitivity, but certainly the letters, for the access table, and then it will import directly into the table. The other alternative with Excel is to link. So I need to find my Excel file, choose to link to the data rather than import it. Okay, goes through the structure of my Excel file. First row does contain column headings. Linked table, well, let's call it TBL XLS sales, and finish. Finish linking, and there's my little linked Excel file. I get a little Excel icon, so I know the file is an Excel format, and I get the little link icon. If I try and open that file, it opens in data table format, really, in my Access database, for me to then use and manipulate the data. The advantage to the linked Excel file is if the Excel data changes, I see those changes in Access. Whereas if I import them, I just import them as they are at that moment in time. If I try to look at the Excel file in design view, you'll see it quite happily shows me that it is creating what effectively it really is a pseudo table. So it's not a real Access table, it's a dummy table that I can't really manipulate here. But what I do get is I get to see the data linked from my Excel file as opposed to import it.